Hello, I'm Allison Thorpe, and this is God Talk, recorded and produced in the bluegrass state of Kentucky, the home of horses, hills, hiking, hillbillies, big trucks, wildcat basketball, and Daniel Boone, the state where guns are honored and shoes are optional. This is the show where science, faith, and culture are discussed openly.
Welcome to God Talk, a show where a rocket scientist and a medical doctor, who is also my pastor, talk about science and religion. I'm your host, Doug Thorpe, and with me as always is my co-host, Dr. Andy Wyatt. Today on God Talk, we welcome our guest, Ange Faugerolas, who is an award-winning French author, speaker, and screenwriter. She is going to discuss her book, The Definitive Guide to Angels from Around the World. So let's get started. Dr. Andy, welcome to the show.
Hello, Doug. Yes, Ange Faugerolas is going to come on today, and I think this will be an interesting show, a little bit different than some of our topics, as she's going to talk about her book, primarily The Definitive Guide to Angels Around the World. And as I understand it, Marie is a published author, more than 13 books, very talented lady, but she's written this book on angels, which at first I thought, well, what can we say about angels?
What can you say about angels? Yeah.
But apparently she's going to tell us about it. And then I got to thinking about the biblical ideas of angels and the importance of angels in the world. And I just so happened to come across something I thought I would tell you about, and we could talk a little bit about before we get Marie on the line.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
This came from Dr. Roger Barrier just this week from crosswalk.com. He's a pastor, theologian, and he just wrote a blog on angels. And Dr. Barrier just so happened, and so I saw it, and I thought that maybe the angel put that in my path. Who knows? So, but here's some of this story that Dr. Barrier tells about angels. He said that when he was in seminary years ago, he's an older gentleman, been a pastor for 40 years. He says that one of his professors at Southwestern Seminary told this story in his class. He said that he was a missionary, and he was traveling in a terrible rainstorm through Louisiana. And, of course, he tells this to be true. And he was on his way to a preaching engagement, and he at that time had been struggling deeply with what he wanted to do in life and in ministry and had a lot of questions. And so he was praying as he was driving in this rainstorm, saying, God, speak to me, tell me what I should do, I need guidance. And just around the corner, he turns and he finds a hitchhiker with his thumb up in a blinding rainstorm. So, being a pastor and a man of charity and so forth, with a good heart, pulls over, invites the man to get in. Gets in the back seat, they begin to have a conversation. And Barrier says that this conversation led to the fact that this gentleman that got in was a Christian. And this professor started to tell this gentleman in the back of his car some of the struggles he was going through. And they traveled for about a half an hour. And the man began to give him advice on how he might want to handle some of his struggles and some of his problems. And they had some good fellowship. And then when they came to the point where they were going to divide ways, about 30 minutes later, he said, let's go in and have a cup of coffee. So this missionary goes into the restaurant with this gentleman, and they sit down and talk a little further. And then as he got up and left, he was driving off, and he realized, I didn't even get the man's name. And he thought, he gave me all this great advice, he gave me good ideas of what to do, I got to go back. So he drives back, goes back to the coffee shop, walks in, the man's gone. He tells the lady there that served him, he said, the man that was here, did you see where he went? And she said, what man? He said, the man that I had coffee with. She said, I wondered why you ordered 2 cups of coffee, but there was no man.
What?
Yeah. It's a true story. And so he says, he drives off, so ask her again, before he drove off, she says, I never saw another man, there was nobody else there, the coffee was was setting the same, nobody had drank it. And then as he drove off in his car, he's like, what in the world happened? And then he realized that when the man got in from the rainstorm, he was totally dry.
What?
Yeah. So this man, this missionary, came to the, conclusion that he had come upon an angel, a man that was spiritual, because he wasn't seen by anybody else. He was dry when he got in. He gave him all this great wisdom. And so he began to think he had come across an angel, a messenger. Now, the word angel, and I want to tell that story because I'm going to bring up, I've never personally seen an angel.
You know of.
Not that I know of. Maybe I've come across one. Now, I will tell you one time, briefly, I was driving very fast in my Mustang convertible years ago before I was a believer. In my wilder days, driving very fast, way over the speed limit in a Mustang convertible. Actually, I was in Louisiana too. Maybe there was a bunch of angels in Louisiana, but I was in that state going to New Orleans, and my car spun out of control, and I was going about 90 miles an hour, and on a big freeway, 4-lane, lost control. And when you lose control, this was midday, cars everywhere. And when you lose control like that, you start weaving back and forth from side to side. I didn't hit anybody. Somehow or another, I wound up in the median, almost going into the oncoming lane where cars were flying 70 miles an hour the other way.
Right.
Did not go there. Stopped. Didn't hurt my car. Was able to pull out, get back on the highway, and just keep going. And at that time, I thought, wow. I sat there for a minute, I thought, that could have been the end of me easily. Either on my side of the road or the other as the semis were coming by. I was like that close. I later told my mother that, and she said, I was praying for you exactly at that point, about 5 minutes before that time. I wasn't a believer then, didn't think much about it. Looking back on it, could that have been interaction of a guardian angel that brought me through that, near catastrophe, fatal catastrophe could have been, or was it just a coincidence? I don't know.
Is this
all right?
I've always heard the phrase in the Bible about being sore afraid. So, did you have a time to be sore afraid?
Well, yeah. That's true. But here's the thing. I think about it like this. Could we maybe embrace what I might call a naive logic as we talk to Marie? Who knows? I don't know. What I'm saying about this is I don't know that this story happened. I can't prove it did. I can't prove it didn't. I can't imagine that the man would lie about it, especially in seminary. My incident, I saw no person. I saw no angel. I nothing like that. Was I sore afraid? I will tell you that I saw my life flash before my eyes and thought I would die.
Well, maybe I should tell one of my stories that where I was, the one time I think in my life that I was sore afraid.
Okay, you were that far, huh?
Right. Well, I was living in Florida with my brother, and we had always went water skiing in the Indian River Lagoon, which is saltwater brackish. And if you go in there, the most you ever see is stingray, jellyfish.
Sure.
And several other things. And it's wide open. You see forever on either side of it. It's very wide. Well, a friend of mine from school says, hey, let's go on the St. Johns River, which is freshwater, which is brackish. You can only dip your hand a couple inches in before it disappears. It's you can't see very...
Murky?
Murky, yeah. Oh, very, very murky. And there's reeds on either side, so you don't have a lot of space to go back and forth on water skis. But, so I was going there, and we had some girls with us, which is a bad thing. So instead of paying attention to the loser on the end of the string, the people on the boat were paying attention to the girls.
Of course.
Right?
And you were the loser.
I was the loser on the string, right? So I got tired after a while. I just, I stumbled and I crashed in the water, and the boat goes on out of sight. They didn't even know that I had crashed, right?
They're just moving on.
Yeah, they kept on moving. And I'm sitting there going, well, geez, they don't even know I fell. I'm going to be here all day. And apparently the phrase all day is a signal. So as soon as I said the word all day, these heads pop up all the way around me.
Heads of what?
Alligators. I had fallen into I guarantee, the world's biggest alligator pit.
Now you're talking real alligators.
Big. They were huge, and they were completely circled around me. And I thought, that scene from James Bond where he's on that little bitty island with all those alligators around him. I was on an island. I was in the middle
You're
of
in the middle of the water.
I was in the middle of the water with all these alligators completely around me. And I just kept going around and around going, let me tell you, I was so afraid. All right?
I'm sure. I mean, now that is, you're not making that up.
No,
That's real.
no. This is absolutely real. And I kept looking at these alligators because I know that they will go underwater to come underneath of me and get me. So, and I kept turning around, looking at them in the eye, going, okay, you're not going down, you're not going down. I kept circling around. And then I saw this big guy had me in his eyes. I was sitting there watching him. All of a sudden, he went underwater. And I was like, because I was going to be...
Yeah, he was going for you.
I was going to be Jesus Christ and walk across that water. I swear I was.
Yeah.
And as soon as he went underwater, I started to, well, here I go. Either I'm going to fight him. Either I'm going to fight him or I'm going to run for it. And I just happened to notice that's when the boat was coming back to come get me. And that's why they're sinking. They sink from the sound of the water. They sink. And so the boat comes up. And, hey, we forgot you. And I was like, just get me out of here. Get me out of here, please. Just go on. I just grabbed the rope. I said, go. Get me out of this place, before they come up and get me, So,
wow. So, and you lived to tell about that. So
with all my legs and everything.
With your legs, no bites. Well, was there an angel guarding you?
Keeping those alligators from...
I mean, that's actually more extreme than my Mustang story. But, way more. I'm scared to death of reptiles. I don't like reptiles. So I don't see any good in them. So that was... And I don't like alligators or snakes. I couldn't imagine being surrounded. So anyway, this brings up... Here's 2 examples of stories from our lives. We don't know. We didn't plan to talk about that, but those are 2 examples. Now, could we have been so afraid? Could we have been saved by guardian angels? Before we get Marie, very quickly, Dr. Barrier lists 17 things about angels. I just want to list a couple for us to think about. Okay. Now, this is from the Christian perspective. We want to tell our audience, Marie, I don't know that she comes from any particular discipline. She may be... Obviously, she believes in God and angels, but I don't know what faith she comes from. From a Christian standpoint, the Bible says God created the angels before he created anything else in the universe. That's one thing. So they were there before anything else. He created them all at the same time. It says in the Bible the number of angels is incomprehensible. 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands and thousands, it says in Revelations 5. We know that some angels rebelled. And left the place of God, so they have free will. It says in the Bible that angels are amazingly powerful. Almost like Superman type powerful, the things that they can do. A few other things he mentioned. He said every Christian church is assigned an angel to watch over it and protect it.
What? Really?
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. And angels minister to those who believe in Christ. Angels protect believers from danger. We talked about that, both in the way of alligators and mustangs. Angels reveal the Lord's plans. That's kind of like the story, which happened in Daniel. Not all angels are good, right? Some fell. So these are just some things that I thought were interesting, as well as he talks about he says you should never fail to pray for your guardian angel when you need help or you're praying for somebody to heal. You should pray for their guardian angel to intervene. Right. Those are just some thoughts that Dr. Barrier brought up.
So humans are humans and angels are angels. So humans don't ever become angels.
That's true, yeah. According to Christian worldview.
And not all angels have wings.
That's true.
They're called cherubim.
Well, there's different types of angels.
Different
cherubim.
Types.
There's cherubim. There are the guardians, which are Michael and Gabriel, the 2 that are mentioned in the Bible. There are different levels of angels. So those are some of the things that we know going in as far as the Christian faith. I have no idea what Marie will share with us personally or from her research.
Different levels of angels. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I believe that according to Jewish tradition, I was going to ask her about this, there are 7 archangels, and he lists all their names here. We only know about Michael and Gabriel, but the Jewish tradition speaks of 7. And I believe they list 9 levels of angels. I might be wrong on that, but there are different levels of angels. Again, cherubim, guardian, worker angels, different types. So here's some of my questions that I want to ask her, and we'll get to that. But how do angels intervene in the physical realm? We're scientists.
Right.
So we look at things like, okay, we believe in the soul, we believe in God, yes, but we also believe in science, we believe in the scientific methodology. How do these things come together? So this is really a good topic for our show, actually, Doug, because, how do angels fit in with faith and science? And we'll see. And
okay.
we'll know. So we'll get her on the line here in a minute.
But first, this
yes.
is God Talk, where we faithfully examine science and reasonably examine faith.
And this is God Talk, where we rightly divide the line between science and faith. All right, so today we have Ange Faugerolas. We're privileged to have this award-winning French author, speaker, and screenwriter. And we're going to talk now about her book, The Definitive Guide to Angels from Around the World. So, Marie, are you on the line?
Yes. Hello, Andy. Hello, Doug. How are you?
All right. We're doing great.
All right. Hey, Angie, this is Doug Thorpe. So I'm going to ask the very first question, which is, please tell the audience about yourself, your educational background, and give us an overview of your book on angels, The Definitive Guide to Angels from Around the World, please.
Well, this is a story. My background initially is to be a writer. I wrote fiction, spiritual books. I've been a teacher. I've done quite a lot of things. But, writing is really my passion, my vice, I should say, because writing is, your whole life is dedicated to writing. This is what I love. This is what I always wanted to do. And I have a little story about this book. When I was 15 years old, I went to the bookstore, the English bookstore in Paris. I was already attracted to English language and living in America. I always, dreamt of it. And I was in this bookstore and saw a little penguin on the books. And I was like, oh, my God, I want one day to see this little penguin on one of my books. And it happened with the book on angels.
Is that right?
That interesting?
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Great.
That's amazing. I absolutely know that an angel passing by, or my guardian angel, or a higher archangel, I don't know who, but I know this happened thanks to the angels. It's obvious. There is no doubt about it. Because the book is dedicated to angels. So it's my first story.
That's great.
Today.
Tell us, Marie, how did you become interested in the topic of angels? And then just expand a little bit on what your book covers and the point of the book.
Right. I was so connected to the angels my whole life, but it started when I was 4 years old. Something really unbelievable happened to me, and at that time, I could not really depict it and say it was an angel. But later on, I figured out that it was definitely an angel. I was riding my tricycle in my grandparents' house in France. I was pedaling very, very fast, speeding up, like really. And all of a sudden, a huge halo of light appeared out of nowhere right in front of me. I stopped right away. I saw this light. It was so, so bright. I had no idea where it came from. And all of a sudden, this light entered my whole body through the crown chakra, through the every single pore of my skin. And I have this memory. I recall this experience like something unbelievable. And I couldn't really honestly believe my eyes. I was like, is this real? But this light inside of me was expanding love. And I have no words to describe this because it's just divine love that was expanding inside my heart, inside my soul, inside my body. And I felt like this is the truth. This is what really exists in this world. Although we cannot see it, this is what it is. And since then, I've been very connected to the other world and very in tune with it. And all the time, I pray to the angels, I connect to them, I talk to them. Before we started the show, I felt that Archangel Raphael, who's my closest angel, who held my hand. That is absolutely amazing. And he's always there with me. And I would say today, I feel there is Gabriel, who's protecting the show, and you, beautiful host, and all our audience, beautiful people who are going to listen to this show anytime. Archangel Gabriel is there. to protect everybody and send love to everybody.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, that's pretty
That's
okay.
an interesting story. Yeah,
So-
thank you for that.
Yeah, we're wanting to get some, your interactions with angels. Can you see them? I mean, can you describe them? Any of those type of things?
Yeah, and I would also... Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Knowing that angels are light, beings of light, and initially they're beings of energy. They have no particles, they have no atoms in their structure. They can take many, many forms to appear to us. They work with our subconscious, they work with our vision. Therefore, we can see them as human beings, as flowers, animals, lights, orbs, whatever. The only thing that I would say to depict an angel, when an angel comes to us, it's always a beautiful and comfortable sensation and a great emotion. And sometimes some people ask me, oh, I felt this, I was a little bit scared. I said, oh, no, this is not an angel. An angel always makes you feel happy, comfortable, reassured, feeling love. You feel everything good. And if something doesn't make you feel 100% positive, good, and really feeling at peace, this is another type of energy.
Wow.
So that's why your question is very interesting, because beyond the simple problem of the form, which can be, in numerous forms, the thing is that there is a way to know exactly when an angel is nearby, feeling this beautiful and positive energy.
Oh, great. I want to piggyback on that for a second to say, when you describe the angel being a being of love and complete, overwhelming type of love in your body, that sounds a lot like some of the near-death experiencers that we've interviewed that describe the experience of a being of love that is all-encompassing, in those situations. I wanted to mention that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree and absolutely believe 100% in near-death experiences. I know all these people who went through this speak the truth, and they see angels, absolutely, because they welcome us when we cross over. They welcome us, and they're there for us, because they are here in this life for us. Why would they leave us? Of course not. They're still with us. Of course. Obviously.
Sure.
Yes. This is a very interesting. A lot of people go through these type of experiences. I think the same amount of people experienced this passage in right after, in between the two worlds. A lot of people, but now people talk about them and tell the stories of their experience. This is great, because now people can talk about this, and they are not considered as people who, telling stories or building up stupid stuff. It's absolutely real. I absolutely believe in it, and also I think, and I'm sure, it's angels welcoming them anytime. Yes, definitely.
All right,
Good.
I have two questions, and one is, I don't know if you've answered the first one. That is, can you describe an angel? Can you see its face? Can you describe its face? And the second one is, what is the purpose of angels?
Oh, very good questions. The first one, I definitely saw an angel, Raphael, who's my angel. He's very, very close to me. And that happened, let's say, 15 years ago. I was in the state of relaxation just before you fall asleep. I was in bed. It was summertime, very nice weather. The windows were open, and I was slumbering in my bed, but not really sleeping, not deep sleep. Just, the state of mind that's in between.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, my eyelids were closed. All of a sudden, I saw beyond my vision. I saw this halo of white light and something inside. I didn't really guess what it was. And this halo of bright light came closer and closer. And I could see inside this face that is beyond what we can even imagine. And I have studied the art and archaeology and studied a lot of statues, iconography of angels, so many. And I did a specific research to try to find an angel that could be a statue representing the vision I had. I started being obsessed with this because I felt like this doesn't exist. I have to find a proof, a piece of evidence that I will find an angel like this. and there was none. I investigated for a long time, never found anything like this beauty that is absolutely beyond imagination. It's beyond imagination. And still, it's a face. It's a human face. It looks like a human face with very, a halo, not really the contours of the face, but the features were so beautiful. The harmony of the face, there was pure balance between the two eyes, the nose and the mouth. It was just perfection. And since then, I have this vision in mind, and I know that I didn't build up the story. I know I was not thinking about angels at that moment. I was enjoying summer, smelling the nature. I was not into this at all. And it happened out of the blue. And this is why it's really striking, because it came out of the blue. And I heard this name, Raphael, right after. And I knew since this moment that he's with me all the time. And that was the most beautiful experience I can tell about seeing an angel. It was absolutely amazing, really amazing. And it makes you feel, wow, this exists, and we're not synthesizing, it exists. And before I answer the second question, I would like to say that you are both amazing scientists, and the thing that matters the most in science is experience. And I think in the spiritual world, it's exactly the same thing. We experience visions, sensations, and we know they exist because we're not telling stories. We're just feeling things, and it's emotional. And if we tell stories, we don't have the same feeling and the same emotions from inside. And our heart and our soul know that we're confronted to something that's beyond us and that really encompasses us. It's absolutely amazing. And the second part of the question about the functions of the angels, what do? They have different levels, different functions according to their position next to God or not. Some are angels very close to us, guardian angels, angels of birth, and many, many, many angels. And there are archangels at upper levels. This is the celestial hierarchy. And each level in the hierarchy has a different function. For instance, the guardian angel is endowed to take care of us, watch over us, the day we were born until we cross over. And there is also the angel of birth who does almost the same thing. They are for us and only for one person, only. And then you have many, many archangels who have different functions regarding the family, the work, money. They can help in many, many different fields, and they are specialized. Like you yourself, you're specialized in certain fields. And they, when they are very close to God, they're more universal, but they have this great power to help you in almost everything. Like the great archangels, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, and Michael, who are very, very powerful, who can help in many, many fields, but they still are specialized. Michael is specialized in warding off evil, destroying evil, and Gabriel is specialized in working with the subconscious, with giving us power, helping us achieve our destiny. And Raphael is a healer, but he's also an angel of love, because and you cannot say, I think the opposite of this. Love is part of healing, and it's a great part of healing. And this is why Raphael, who's the healer, is also the angel of love and helps you meet your soulmate and do everything to gather the family. And there is one archangel that is not that famous. His name is Seraphiel. The name comes from the seraphim. And Seraphiel has a specialty, is to gather families and to help people deal with conflict and recreate harmony and balance in a family. And this is very important, because in a world where everything is collapsing and there's tensions everywhere, and I'm French, I've been through this terrible experience 15 days ago.
Yes.
When you see this, families need to be in harmony and together and stay together. And this is what Seraphiel does, and I really, really thank him for this amazing job and function he has to gather families and help people cope with their issues, their fights, their conflicts, and everything that could divide the family. And I suggest if our audience really wants to gather their family and family members, children, siblings, cousins, and whoever is close to the family, you can light a white candle and sit all around the candle. You gather the whole family around the candle and pray to Archangel Seraphiel with your own words. Our archangels and angels don't really care if you use different words, as long as you have a great intention and a super motivation to get a result. And it honestly worked. I did it. It worked very well. You gather the family around this candle and you say a word, 2 words, a prayer to Archangel Seraphiel, and each member of the family says something to the Archangel, and everybody thanks him in the end of the prayer, and it really works. It helps creating a great harmony in the family.
Wow. That's great, Marie. I want to ask a little bit more detail with the different kinds of angels. The Bible talks about Michael and Gabriel as 2 of those 7 guardian angels. Jewish tradition mentions the others that you mentioned. But it also mentioned, Yeah.
Yes.
It also mentions other forms of angels. It mentions cherubim and seraphim. And so for those, are not that familiar with these, what would be the difference between the guardian angels and the seraphim and the cherubim?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Everything is confusing regarding the levels of the hierarchy and the names of the angels. It's all confusing. Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting to be specific. Michael and Gabriel are the 2 that are named in the Bible. Mm-hmm. They are seraphim, and they are very, very high in the hierarchy. They are the highest archangels of the hierarchy. The celestial hierarchy only came from the first one that is reliable, is from Dionysius the Areopagite, and he lived in the 5th century after Christ. And the thing is that because there's a long period of time between the text of the Bible and almost almost 1,000 years between this celestial hierarchy and the scripture, it makes the things very complicated and difficult to understand. Let's make it very simple.
Okay.
The seraphim are the highest celestial beings. Okay. They are very close to God. Michael and Gabriel are seraphim. Cherubim are just right after the level underneath, but they are still very high archangels. Then you have the throne, principalities, virtues, dominions, and then you have the angels, archangels, and angels. These are all the levels of the hierarchy. What is just the thing is, a guardian angel is not an archangel.
Okay.
A guardian angel belongs to the lower level of angels, and they do the archangel's bidding. They are their servants. They are very close to us. They are on earth with us, although we don't see them. Sometimes we may, but currently we don't see them. They are still with us on earth, and they they intercede for us to God and the higher archangels for them to achieve our goals, our dreams, make our dreams come true, fulfill our destiny, whatever we want to change in our life, they ask for us. And the guardian angels are very, very powerful. Although they're not as powerful as Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, and all these very high archangels. And we always call them angels because this is the generic term to call all the archangels, whether they are seraphim, cherubim, whatever level in the hierarchy. They are all called angels. This is the generic term. And among these angels, we have the highest level. I hope I clarified this a little bit confusing situation regarding their attributes, their functions, what they do, and what they are supposed to do in our life.
Okay. Well, let me ask about the total opposite end of the scale, which is fallen angels. What are fallen angels? Are they demons? Do they possess people? Can you give us any background on that?
That's another side. We have to just step out of this beautiful energy and see what happens. Yes, they are demons. The fallen angels are definitely demons, and Satan is their leader. And when, I don't know if both of you experience something like that, but usually when humans are really improving their life, evolving, trying to help humanity, everything you do that's positive, you always face very tough challenges. I don't know if it's your case, but it happens rather often.
Sure.
Because the demons and the negativity its purpose is to prevent us from evolving, from expanding our consciousness, from becoming beings of wisdom and beauty and generosity and goodness. And this is what they try to stop. And this is why it's always a challenge to improve and really make our lives better and evolving. That's the problem. Yes, there are demons, and yes, they are very negative, and yes, they are very dense. They are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
The Bible does talk about that, and we just wanted to clarify that up front to make sure that, that was your understanding.
Of course.
Now, angels, as far as the type of creatures they are, we've read that God created them first. And I want to ask you, do you think the angels have the free will like humans do, or are they more under the control of God? Or, in other words, are they more a robotic creature, or are they a free will creature?
No, they're not robotic because they have emotions. They have so much love; they cannot be robotic.
Sure,
love is not compatible with robotic.
You have to have emotions. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so they are pure love, and God has given them these functions and assignments for us to help us, and He created them for us as messengers. They transmit our prayers to God. They are intercessors. They are pure love. And also, I think God wanted, when He created the angels before us, He wanted to create these beings of light and love to reassure us and create a surroundings like they are our spiritual parents, our spiritual guides. We can call them, the way we like. But God created them for them to help us. This is the main purpose. There is no other. Messengers between who and who.
Yeah.
It's not with us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Messenger from God to us. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely.
Okay. I have a question about a specific passage in the Bible. In Matthew 18:10, it says, Jesus Christ stated, "The angels of the little ones continually behold the face of the Father." What does that mean to you?
Yes, absolutely. Children always have their guardian angel, of course, like we all do, and they are very protected by the angels. Some children can see angels more than adults because they are open-minded. They're not like feeling it's not scientific, it's not rational. We shouldn't pay attention to this world. And children see angels and feel the angels. This is why I would suggest to the mothers who have little kids at home to tell them stories of angels and talk about angels and awaken their children to the existence of angels and let them know that they are not alone. They don't face this world without any protection. And this is important to educate children to the existence of angels. And I have, in addition to this, the guardian angel, I have had another amazing experience with Archangel Zerubbabel. You will never find him anywhere except in my book. Because I investigated a lot to find any trace of this archangel. I never found it. And he came to me when I was writing the book. I channeled a lot of prayers and rituals and meditations when I wrote the book. And I saw the vision of, not the face, I just saw a figure, and this angel outstretched his wings, and they were all covered in diamonds. And that was absolutely amazing. And there was one purpose for this because I received messages afterwards, and the diamonds reflect our own light. So we see how powerful we are when we look at his wings and see these diamonds that reflect our own light, and we understand the whole potential that we have to radiate, to be vibrant, to be beings of light and beings of life. And through this vision, that's what we see. And also we see that Zerubbabel is also the angel and archangel of children. This is why I'm talking about him.
Okay.
He is pure love. And I'm going to write something about Archangel Zerubbabel, how he's going to help children and protect children through different stories. So it's in my mind.
Okay.
Right. Well, can anybody see angels? Do you have to be, take some training in order to see them? Or, how... Yeah, that's probably clear enough, right?
Some people never see them. Could you... you've seen angels yourself, and I'm sure you have stories of that in your book. Can you talk a little bit about that, how some people seem to be able to see angels, and of course they may be in different forms. Maybe we've seen them and been unaware. But what do you think about that?
It's absolutely true. Some people see angels, some don't. The reason why is because some of them are very open-minded and ready to see them. They open their heart, they open up their chakras. Everything is open and gets ready to receive this vision. But a lot of people see angels without seeing them, because when something great happens in some people's life, they don't understand that behind this beautiful event that just took place, an angel was really mastering the whole story. And some people tell me, I've met my soulmate. You will never believe this. So this person, who knew this person, but it wasn't believable. There is no reason that I should meet this person. This happens because angels do this.
Oh.
And this is why a lot of stories are beautiful, and people say, guess what? This miracle happened to me. And I know behind this miracle, there is an angel all the time. And this is why everybody sees angels without seeing them, because they see the results.
Okay.
They see the experience. Well, this is what really happens. And I absolutely believe every single person on this planet can see and connect with the angels very easily. Very easily.
Do you, do you think that then the angels do interact with the physical realm and influence results? It sounds like you're saying they can connect people, illuminate people, bring things together. They are able to protect. That's the one question. And then secondly, I think I know the answer to this, but for our audience, I want to say, is everybody has a specific guardian angel. Is that correct? Yes,
absolutely. This question, yes. And this guardian angel is our own. He's our property.
Okay.
We own him from the first day until our last day. So definitely he is ours. Therefore, anybody can talk to their guardian angel. And the other question is that, yes, we can see angels in the matter. They really interfere in matter. And I would just, if I have time, tell you a story that happened to my son.
Sure.
When he was 2.5 years old. He's now 23, so he's not a baby anymore. But I was in my house in France, and he was taking a nap. And the window was open. It was summertime, and he was sleeping in his cot, and I was feeling very comfortable in my living room reading. And all of a sudden, I hear steps on the gravel in front of the house, and all the French windows were open, and I could see people coming, and I didn't see anybody. I was surprised. It's weird. Then somebody rang at the door. I opened the door, and there was a man, very tall man, carrying my son. Oh. And I was speechless. I couldn't utter a word. I was really speechless. I tried to say something to this man. How did you find my son? And plus, the thing is that he was too young to say, this is where I live. He could never say this to anybody. So I guess this child climbed over the windowsill and disappeared in the garden and was about to reach the road, probably. And this angel brought him back. Because the dangers that my son could face is that there was the road, not very far, there was a pond, and then there was the railroad tracks, the rail tracks, a little bit further on. So it was horrifying to think about what he could go through. He could have died many times. And this man handed me the baby. I couldn't say a word. I closed the door, and I looked around. Nobody was there. Nobody. I didn't even hear the steps on the gravel. He vanished in thin air. And I investigated in the village. I asked everybody, did you see this great tall man, very kind face, but very tall, and dressed like this, like that? And nobody ever heard about this man. They said no. And in little French villages in the south of France, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
And they had no idea who that was.
Wow.
And my son always says, "Oh, I'm alive thanks to an angel." That is really how they interfere in our lives. This is what they do. They can take a human appearance to do stuff that they have to do. Many people witness that during accidents, something terrible happens, and angels are human beings coming there to save us as a fireman or a policeman or a passerby. These people never talk. They don't talk when they intervene in our world of matter. They don't talk, but they are so efficient. This is absolutely incredible.
And they do have the ability to take physical form. That's interesting. I was wondering, in the Bible, it talks about the great power, and it always mentions that angels are very tall, almost scary. Like you say, they're not because they're loved, but they appear very, Can you talk about your research into that? Are they always very big,
Yes, they are very big. The Quran says the same thing. They're huge. Really, their wingspan is unbelievable. Sometimes they are as big as the distance between the Earth and the Moon.
Wow.
Obviously, this is symbolic.
Right.
This is absolutely symbolic.
Hyperbole.
And it's the symbol of their might, of their grandeur. This is the symbol of who they are. And for the people writing at the time of the Bible, it was difficult to express it with other words than a distance or a huge, tall being with many, many wings. For instance, seraphim, they're said to have 6 wings, and they are burning with God's love. All these descriptions are obviously symbolic. They are very powerful, but we can see and picture a huge, humongous human being that resembles an angel. This is the way we see him, but this is how we can picture angels, like huge and tall. And this man who brought me my son back was very tall. This is what I noticed. But it can happen that an angel can appear as a child, can appear as a dog that's saving somebody who's drowning. Everything can happen. They can take many, many forms. But definitely in the Bible, it's the way to express their power.
Okay.
Their might. Mm-hmm.
All right, so let me, totally different off the subject. I want to ask you, who was the angel Maroni? And this may be a very controversial question. So, if you ever heard of this angel Maroni.
Yes, it's the Angels of the Mormons.
Mm-hmm.
And he is an angel who is he inspired the whole text of the Joseph Smith text of the Mormons. Mm-hmm. And I don't know much because I didn't investigate specifically on this angel, but I can tell you he is like the correspondent of Gabriel, who has taught the Quran to Muhammad, and Maroni has taught the text of the Mormons to John Smith, who wrote it right after. So it's the same idea. The angel is sending all the information for the prophet to write the text that he received. Yeah. So it's the same pattern, but it's interesting that he is an angel that I never connected to personally. But he is the Angels of the Moment, definitely, and very powerful.
Okay. I had a question for you about your book before we wind up. when you did all your research and study for this book, what was something that either really surprised you that you found out about angels, or something that really was very interesting to you when you did your work for the book? I know there are probably many things, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's related to your previous question. What amazed me is the power of the angels to interfere in our life. For instance, he had Daniel, he had Peter. An angel is there when Jesus is resurrected. Angels are there. They are everywhere in the Bible, although they are called angels, and very few names appear in the Bible, just Michael and Gabriel. But the thing is that this is why they really interested me, because they are everywhere. And there is not a single word in the Bible that doesn't mention an angel. Yeah. And something that is interesting as well is the opposite of angels. We said demons. Mm-hmm. Jesus was an exorcist, and he cast out demons out of many people, and approximately 25% of Jesus' miracles are exorcisms. This is very interesting because it shows how these angels have to face and the negative and the demons. It's a constant fight. We see this in the Bible, and this is what struck me, because it's always a constant fight between the good and evil. It's always there. And this is why our lives are not that easy. This is why I absolutely don't believe that angels are little chubby babies. They are. This is a representation to show how kind and nice they are, but they are also warriors. And this is what I really was interested in researching. This principle of an angel is a warrior. He is a knight, and he's fighting evil for us. And this is his huge importance, because life shows how difficult and challenging it is. And this is how they can help us fighting evil in order to accomplish our goals and fulfill our mission and our dreams, and make our dreams come true. Because all we have in mind is possible. It is possible as long as we ask help. We cannot accomplish anything by ourselves. And this is why I think angels are beautiful in our lives, because they can support us, they can guide us, and they can assist us whatever we aim to do.
Yeah,
that was the most thing that.
Sure, they're everywhere, and that would bring us. We're close to closing, but I wanted to bring up the idea you mentioned. The Bible talks about the battle. You said angels are warriors and have great power. It talks a lot in the Bible about the battle that we're not able to see necessarily, of the warring between, good and bad angels, or demons and good angels, and the war that goes on. It's described, and that will, of course, come to culmination in the Battle of Armageddon, it says in the book of Revelation. But it does sound as if you would agree with that there is a battle, and ultimately, in life, it's all about good and evil, and how the choices we make, the way we conduct ourselves, the spirit of the fruit of the Spirit, whether or not we have that, or we have very negative and bad things in our life, seems to be that there is this battle going on, this warring between good and evil, between the angels and the demons. Is that what you understood?
Absolutely, 100%. And I think every single event that takes place on Earth has its equivalent in the spiritual world between angels and demons. Definitely, I think this is what will help us understand what is going on in our lives. This is what goes wrong in people's lives. I really feel a lot of people have sicknesses due to evil influences, negativity, and angels are there to protect us. This is why it's very important to connect to them. Whoever you are, and regardless of your belief, religion, tradition, country, it's important to connect to these beings of love, because they are pure love, and you can see them with Egyptian wings as the Isis or Nephthys, the goddesses in Egypt, who are the same concept of angels. Mm-hmm. This is exactly what we can see everywhere. Buddhist angels, whoever believes in a being that can help us, is going to be helped by this being, and they are fighting for us. And Andrew, I absolutely agree with this war. There's war in heaven, and yes, there is war. Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. I think we have no doubt, we agree with you, there is a spiritual realm as well as a physical realm, even though we're not always aware of it, but it's very powerful and it's very real. And last question would be, how can people of faith increase their awareness and relationship with their guardian angel?
That's a very good question. Just connect every day if you can. The more you talk to them, the more you get in tune with them, and they have so much love for us, so much love that very simple words will connect you to them. And I always suggest a candle, because a candle is very symbolic. The flame connects the two realms. This is why a very simple white candle connects you to the angels, and a little prayer. You can also pray in the bus, in your car, in your kitchen, wherever you are, at your office, whatever you do. You can always think of an angel and ask an angel to be with you. You can ask this 80 times, all life through. I mean, it's absolutely universal, and it's easy, and they are there for us. It's very simple.
Great.
Very, very simple. Just talk to them.
Okay.
They love it.
Okay.
And plus, I would just end up with the idea that angels are beings, they love to laugh. They are funny. They love entertaining when you perform a ritual. They love it, like, you welcome your family and friends for Thanksgiving. Same thing. They love the celebrations. They love entertaining, and this is great. Every time you entertain the angels, they always enjoy it very much.
Okay. All right, Marie, Angie, we're out of time, but I've got to say this has been the most interesting interview that we've had. You're probably the most upbeat person that I've ever listened to.
I was gonna say the same thing, Doug. Independent of you, I was gonna say, for somebody who talks about angels and all the love that they bring, you certainly display that in your character.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really been a joy to talk with
you.
you. And I can see the angels. Yeah, I mean, I can see them working in your life.
Absolutely.
And this has been very interesting.
So much. Thank you so much.
Well, we've enjoyed
and I
it.
send you much love to our audience, much love and angelic blessings, and to you too. And thank you so much for inviting me to your show.
Yes.
I was very honored, and I really enjoyed it. It was a wonderful time. Thank
great.
you so much.
Have a great Christmas season, and we'll be praying blessings for you. God bless. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, Doug. So that was Ange Faugerolas talking about her book, The Definitive Guide to Angels from Around the World. And it's available on Amazon and where books are sold.
Right. Well, I mean, one of the things that was popping in my head while she was talking about the different angels, that everybody has their own personal
guardian
angel. I thought, well, how in the world can a guardian angel be everywhere in the world? And then we go back to Lee Bauman's episode where he talked about, if they're moving at the speed of light, they can be everywhere in the world at the same time.
Yeah.
So
in the spiritual realm, the way he described that was light, light beings, and light moves.
She mentioned a candle. I thought,
she did, yeah.
Well, a candle is light.
Yeah.
As a candle is light energy. So, by golly, you got...
Maybe there's a connection here between light and goodness and angels and all of it. Yeah.
And the opposite is darkness. They always said darkness is bad, light is good. It's like, it's...
Bad things happen in the dark.
It's looking
I know that
way. Yeah, it's looking that way.
Bad things lurk in the dark. Interesting conversation. Like I say, we have to assume kind of a naive logic. I don't know whether it's true or false. I can't prove it. But I do believe she's telling us her experience, truthfully.
Well, this is definitely taking us out of our realm here, okay?
Yeah, it's a little bit different show. We certainly, we're not talking about as much physical evidential proof like we usually talk about.
Right.
This is a little more on the edge of faith. And certainly on the edge of faith. I mean, this is something you have to take by faith.
Well, and the other thing that she was talking about was while she was talking about, oh, guys, if you're doing God talk, you got to be careful because you're going to be, have
Drumming
bad,
up.
bad things against you. And at the same time, we're got this infestation of flies
in our studio.
In the studio, it was
we can't seem to get rid of them. We kill them off and they come back. We don't know where they're coming from.
So maybe she's onto something there.
Yeah, I appreciated her blessing over us, and it is a positive thing and a good thing to think about having a guardian angel. That's consistent with Scripture. The Bible says we all have an angel that watches over us. Now that does come from Scripture. I wanted to kind of end with this, just to close with it. It says that the angels, they're messengers. They announce the birth of Jesus to the shepherds. That's from Luke 2:14. The angels ministered to Christ after his temptation in the desert, Matthew 4:11. You remember when he went out to the desert for 40 days, he fasted and prayed, and he had nothing to eat. And it says at the end of that time, the angels came and ministered to him, brought him food. They comforted Jesus in his agony in the garden as well, Garden of Gethsemane, Luke 22:43. So I think, these are examples of the Bible explaining angels intervening with the physical realm. And, we know that these things have happened in the past if we believe Scripture. And so, again, we take it on faith, and we believe there are good angels, and she did say there are fallen angels. So that's consistent. There are demons.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was a good show, though.
All right. So this is God Talk, your one-stop audio companion for the curious Christian, the seeking scientist, the dangerous deacon, or the angry atheist. God Talk gives real answers to challenging questions.
Wow, I like that one. This is God Talk, where we faithfully examine science and we reasonably examine faith.
Thank you for listening. Stand by for all the different ways that you can interact with God Talk.
Please visit our website at godtalk.com. Our audio files can be found on iTunes, SoundCloud, and many other podcast platforms. You can find all of our God Talk videos by searching Dr. Andy and Doug on YouTube. Please visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Dr. Andy and Doug. Thank you for listening.